Good morning, it is Clay at claytrader.com. This will be a live trade video where I try to capture some of my trades as they play out live. Market opens up here in about 10 minutes. Real quick, what do I mean by live? What I mean is that this is not a situation where I've already recorded everything and now I'm coming back and doing some sort of post commentary where I'm explaining what's already happened. So nothing like this. This is not a trade recap or anything of that nature. I'm recording myself, seeing the information for the very first time. So if you want just an unscripted, nitty-gritty look into what it's like to be a day trader, how day trading can play out, then this will be a video for you. But to honor your time, if you do want like a nicely edited video, then this will not be a video for you. Because like I said, it's going to be very just kind of nitty-gritty and obviously completely unscripted since I literally don't know what's coming next. So right now I'm watching SAVA and maybe, just maybe, a pre-market trade on it. So if you're not familiar with my screen, there we have the ticker symbol. And this is what's going on in the pre-market. So the price has been absolutely destroyed. I am bearish on it, meaning I would like to short. And for you beginners, short means making money when prices are going down. So if you ever heard somebody say they're shorting or they're short or they're thinking too short a stock or any asset, that just means they want to see prices go down. And that's how you make money. Pretty crazy concept when you first hear about it, but totally possible. So I'm actually watching the $53 mark right now on SAVA. And if it comes into play, 53, 50. Yeah, just watching that. Would only do 100 shares because it is pre-market, so things can always get a little sketchy in pre-market. So I need to manage that and factor in that risk via my position sizing here. But if 53 comes into play, then I'll get the video rolling and maybe, like I said, a pre-market trade. If not, I'll just see you back at the open. And real quick, if you're wondering how does the chat room work, you can see just made that alert right there. So 53 flush point here in the pre-market. So made that alert to members. So if you're, that's one of the big questions they get. Hey, Clay, I know you offer a trading community. How does that work? So there's a quick example right there. Now that doesn't mean that everybody in the room is going to take that alert. We're not a group of sheep. It's a group of wolves that are working together, and we'll help each other out, point out levels. But at the end of the day, it's ultimately up to the member to decide for themselves. So like I said, I threw out my opinion right there. 53 looks like an interesting area. And if people agree, great. Maybe if people think 54 would be a better spot. But like they said, that's the idea. People thinking for themselves, but everybody, just trying to help each other out. So we're getting somewhat of a drop here. So again, 53 watching very closely. I will go ahead and pause, and if it looks like 53 is going to come into play, I'll get the video rolling. Still 5 minutes before the market opens, but you can see the price here is getting near this trend line here. So it's really just a question of, do I think that if the price breaks this trend line, it can continue to go down? And if so, that could be a nice little gain here. But I'm still watching 53. That's what I'm going to kind of use as my area. Right now, yeah, it's flirting with that area. Like I said, I prefer to see 53 to see if it can actually, get down through that level right there. So that remains the current game plan. Although things have really slowed down. I mean, look how tight this little range is compared to, that big range right there, then that big range right there. And even that little bounce right there was still a multi-dollar move. But now all of a sudden things have really tightened up, which not the end of the world, but before the market open, I mean, I prefer a little bit more, but I'm sure volatility will return. But SAVA can be kind of goofy every now and then. But let's see, market opens up here in about 4 minutes. So what I'm going to actually do here is get short. And this is a situation where this thing is either going to break down or it's going to come up and stop me out over the $55 range. But yeah, market opens up soon. So maybe out of the opening gates, I get a nice push to the downside, which would be great. Or maybe it snaps back against me. And if it does, then so be it. I'll be out, let's call it right around $200, but more than willing to take a $200 risk here. And that $200 risk assumes with slippage. So I doubt it would be that much, but so we're starting to get some movement to the downside here. And like I said, now it's just a question of at the opening bell, is this thing going to continue on and push to the downside, or is it just going to snap up against me? Let's see. Should I let the video just roll until, yeah, we'll let it roll. So 2 minutes now until the open. Try to pull off some profits down here at 50. So just took out 25 shares there. Curious if this thing can get down to the $51 mark. So still have 75 shares left. Could still be a losing trade, but it would be a very modest losing trade now if, like I said, all of a sudden this thing shoots up. But I'm very curious to see how does this thing behave right at the opening gates. Can we get a quick plunge to the downside? There's 51. Can we get a push down through there? Now, in hindsight, Clay, why did you only do 100 shares? I agree. I should have done like 1,000 shares. But that's the power of hindsight. Because had this thing gone the other way, then I'd be looking at a loss where you're saying, geez, Clay, why don't you just do 100 shares? Why did you do so much? I mean, it was pre-market. Good old hindsight trading. Like I said, very curious to see if this thing, market opens up here in less than 1 minute. So like I said, this could still be a losing trade because if this thing all of a sudden just comes out of the gates and rips to the upside. In fact, let's do this. Throw out an order just at the open in case it wants to flush down through 51. Or like I said, got to be prepared that it could all of a sudden decide to bounce up against me. So there's the opening bell. So I'm nice, got another 25 shares out. But now, like I said, it's kind of anybody's guess in terms of what does it actually want to do here. All right, so all out there for $110. Very nice, given the context. But now I'm still going to be interested in this one, as it starts to bounce back up, so this is good. So just going to let this first candle play out here. Let's see what it wants to do. Got to be very, very careful, though, about this 51-ish area. See, I'd like to see this go up some more. Yeah, 53 once again. Okay, 53, 56. So yeah, let's see if this thing wants to come back down. In fact, I'm going to get that alerted again. Flush point, 1 minute. Wait a minute, I still have 50 shares? How do I still have 50 shares? What in the world? I thought I got rid of those. Apparently, I did not. Okay, well, let's see if 53 wants to come back in, and I'll just add back another 50 shares at 53. Well, this could... I have no idea. I thought I got out of those. What is that? 55. Again, I'm not panicking or anything like that, just because even if it is a losing trade, I mean, super embarrassing, but all right, at this point, I'll just have to reassess the situation. So if this goes up over 59, oh, maybe that, did I type it in the wrong spot? Yeah, what is that? 55. I'll keep an eye on 55. See if it wants to come back into play here. Let me get that alerted real quick. SAVA 55 update flush point 1 minute. Whoop, or is this going to go over 59 and I just need to be out? Or excuse me, 58, I need to be out. That's kind of embarrassingly funny. This whole time I'm talking, and then all right, well, let's see if This thing wants to come down to the 55 mark. So added some more there. At 55. But if this thing goes up over 59, I'll have to be out, and it will be a losing day because I'm not going to fool around with this one much, because this has been, I don't know, do I want to add in another 50 though if it comes back down to 55? I do. So if it comes back down to 55, I'm going to add in some more. There we go. So let's see if we can actually get the break here of 55. Going for it, but you have that VWAP right there that's presenting some problems. Let's see if we can get the move down through there. It's trying to get down through there. Can we get down through 54? Okay, so it took out. See if we can get this down below. All right, 75 shares left. Now I'm all paranoid. Yeah, 53. If this goes up over 57, I will have to be out. So this could still be a losing trade or very minimal, but want to give this thing a chance to come back down here for me. So again, in hindsight, maybe I should be taking profits right now and just ensure this is a green trade. But if this thing all of a sudden comes back down, then I'll be saying, well, geez, why did I get out? But that's hindsight, right? There's only so much you can do in hindsight. I want to give this thing a chance to come back down. But yeah, 53, that level that I've been talking about already, remains a key area where I think if it can be broken, then 51 has a good chance. Just looking around the market, seeing what else is out there. All right, what is that? Yeah, 56 is now the level here where if it goes up over that, I like that as a stop loss now. So if things go up over 56, I will be out. But yeah, let's see if we can get this drop down to 53 and then below. I mean, great candlestick there just formed. All right, but this area is definitely being very stubborn. Yeah, 53, that'll be the golden goose. But again, if it goes up over 56, I'm going to just bow out, which will be a loss on these shares here. Especially with slippage. All right, approaching 50. All right, got to get out. So there we go, up $67. Gave it a chance, didn't want to break down through, and then yeah, I realized I gave back gains, but that's all in hindsight, because had I sat here but that all started, that's right, thinking that I had gotten out of that initial opening position. I still do like it though at 53. I mean, 53 is still super, super interesting if it can come back into play here. But again, per the daily time frame, got to be very careful here. 56.50. What is that? 56.2. So 200. I mean, yeah, maybe I just try that. And if I'm red, then I'm red on the day. Not a big deal. But Yeah, crazy morning. But I guess, I don't know. That is the challenge of these live trade videos, is sometimes I think that I'm doing things, so I'm trying to talk to you, I'm trying to do everything. I mean, it's nobody's fault but my own. So I'm not trying to like play the excuse game or blame others. It is 100% my fault. But like I said, I'll have to go back and watch the recording because I don't know why I thought that I was out, but apparently I did. All right, well, I'll go ahead and pause. And like I said, I'm still interested at that 53 area, but I don't want to rush into anything either. But I'll pause for the video for now. Quick update here on SAVA. You can see has continued to move upwards. So yeah, like I said, gave it the chance. Thought it had a fantastic opportunity to make a move down to at least the $51 range, but I was wrong. Went back up, and now seems to be recovering. Although I'm keeping an eye on it, but I just wanted to give a quick update on that one. All right, watching 389 here for a potential short. Really just a question of, does this trend line want to break? So I'll pause it for now, keep an eye on it. But if it looks like 389, well, maybe coming into play here. Just 100 shares, because if I'm wrong, then I will be in the red. Not by a whole lot, but will be in the red, which I'm fine with. With the way today's gone, really can't get too much worse. Not that this is a revenge trade or anything like that, so I probably shouldn't make it in that context, because this is, in my mind at least, a good setup, meaning it's either going to break down or it's going to reverse around on me, and I'll just take the couple $100 loss and move on. So I don't want to make it seem like this is some just sort of random trade, because it's not. There's good logic behind it. I like the reasoning. I think it could very well work out in my favor, but there are no guarantees. But I will need to see 389, but I'll go ahead and pause for now. All right, maybe 389 is coming into play here. So got in there at 389. Now it's just a question of, can 389 be broken, or is this going to bounce up against me? And if it does, so be it. Like I said, this is all just a question of, can 389 be broken? And if it can, does it want to get more continuation to the downside? Well, what did I say? 391 is what I'm watching. Not looking so good right now, though. See if it wants to come back down. Well, I could be getting a very nice candle here, maybe. But not out of the woods yet. So that thing was knocking on the door of my stop loss at 391. Never did go above it, though. But all right, well, here we go again. Again, the play is 389. Does 389 actually want to be broken? All right, there's the break. Now the next phase. Does this want to actually generate a breakdown, or is this just going to be basically a false break and then snap right back up? Which is quite possible also. Because, I mean, this is a very stubborn area of support. But there we go. Cannot take anything unless this gets down below 388. Can't even think about taking in any profits unless it gets down below 388. So it's at 388. There we go. I still wasn't able to get anything off. All right, well, let me cancel that out then. See if it wants to try again. See if it wants to give it another push. There we go. All right, there we go. Got some off right there. Took some off right there at 387. So still have 50 shares left to enjoy this ride if it wants to continue on down. I'd like to see this thing down below 386.50. Clay, why don't you do 400, 500 shares? I know, I agree. Just kind of one of those little things this morning. Now, I did do the right thing, though, so I'm saying that very sarcastically because from a risk management perspective, you got to be very careful. You don't want to be throwing in big share size in situations where, yeah, you like the chances, but you also got to acknowledge, yeah, but it could very well do the exact opposite. 386.50. If that area falls, then I got to think that I can get 386. Nice. Yeah, let's get 385 here. Can we get it break down through 385? How awesome would that be? Very nice. All right, took out another 25 shares there. Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree with you if you're saying, Clay, why didn't you do bigger share size? I know, no kidding. What was I doing? Poor life choice on my part. In all seriousness, though, that's just the name of the game. That's just how it happens sometimes. I mean, what a breakdown, though. I'm not sure how much further this thing can get before it bounces, so I'm just going to go ahead and call it good. And $274 on that trade, which brings me up to $340 on the day, and it's 9:55. So 25 minutes in, 340 with commissions. Let's call it 330. So 330 in 25 minutes after an absolute clown show of a start. I'm going to take it. I'm actually very, very happy. Now, if you've watched past videos, you've seen some where I'm making, thousands of dollars, $800, $900, bigger amounts. But this one feels good because, did things right. Then, of course, I had, which nobody's fault but my own, a lot of stuff going on with the live trades. Somehow ended up costing myself on that SAVA trade, but then took that back. And yes, the voices, and I just, bring this up because I want you to know you're not alone. The voices are here right now saying, Clay, they're doing the math, right? Had you done 400 shares, I mean, you're looking at a potential $1,500 gain right there. And you're right. Yeah, but had I done 400 and then had it went up there, then that would have been like an $800 loss. And then I'd be deeper into the red than what I wanted to. And that's just not where I wanted, my account to be. So I get it. In hindsight, yes, the voices are always going to show up. Oh, Clay, you should have done more size. But had I taken the loss, then the voices would have shown up and said, Clay, why did you do so much size? Why didn't you just reduce your position size? So the moral of the story is it is impossible to win in hindsight. You will never do the exact right thing in hindsight because I want to go through that again. And that's the lesson here about the dangers of using hindsight. Had I done 400 shares, let's say right here. So 400 shares, which is kind of my normal position size. And that was just terrible handwriting. But had I done 400, then yes, right here, I'm looking at a good solid, potentially, let's just call it $1,500 gain. I get that. However, so the voice that shows up, and that's the voice that's here right now. Why didn't you do more size? But had the price gone up, taken me out, that would have been an $800, give or take, loss. So let me put the negative sign right there. And then I would be sitting here saying, Clay, why didn't you just do 100 shares? Why didn't you just make that 100? Why did you do 400? Because had you done it at 100, it would have been a $200 loss. And then your day would have been down, right around $100, give or take. And being down $100 is so much better than being down $750, right? So it is literally impossible to win if you're using hindsight as your judge because you'll never, ever do the exact right thing. Never. And even if I had done 400, and then this thing, I could say, well, geez, I could have held out for a little bit longer and that 1,500 could have been 1,800, right? So hindsight is a very, very cruel judge and it will play mind tricks with yourself if you let it. So if you've ever been here before, you're not alone. You're not alone because the market, your mind is going to try to make good habits. Again, a good habit being, all right, let me understand the context. Let me reduce position size just in case. And then all of a sudden, well, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that, you moron? And you're not alone, all right? It happens. And but that's okay. If you want to survive, sometimes you got to just take this because there's been times, and if for those of you that have watched the videos, you've seen where I've reduced position size, I've been wrong, and then I consider and say, hey, hey, I'm glad I didn't do full position size because that's a very manageable loss. And, then in the same video, I've gone on to recoup the loss, or maybe the next day it's recouped. So like I said, it's always a catch-22, but the voices only show up in certain circumstances. And then the voice that shows up is always going to be different. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and hopefully you enjoyed this lesson. A long video, but the first part of the video, I would say just some comedy. I think I went like 2 or 3 minutes, not even knowing that I still had 50 shares because I thought I had exited the position. But anyways, had some comedy there. Then we had some good lessons, real life trading here. Not that there weren't lessons with the first one, but overall, like I said, I'm going to take it. Not many places in the world that I'm aware of where you can make in 25 minutes $330. So I'm going to take my $330 and move on with my day. So if you enjoy these live trade videos, please let me know, because as you witnessed earlier, they're not easy to make. I have to talk to you. I have to think for myself. I have to actually think what I'm going to say to you. I have to think about my own trade plans. I have to make alerts in the chat room. I have to think about the alerts. So there's a ton of stuff going on, and they're not easy to do. But I will keep making them because they are possible, but I just want to make sure that I'm not wasting my time to do them. So if you enjoy these live trade videos, do a couple things for me. Hit that like button and then leave a basic comment, even if it's just a thumbs up, a smiley face. The number one, anything, even just a period, but any sort of comment and hitting the like button communicates to me that you enjoy these live trade videos. As long as I know that people enjoy them, then like I said, I have no problem continuing to do them. But if people just don't like them, then I'm certainly not going to put myself through what I did this morning with them. But yeah, if you like them, then please communicate that to me by doing those two simple things. And then of course, if this is your first video, I'm not a really big believer. And hey, you've watched 5 minutes of one video, subscribe to my channel. So I'm not going to ask you to subscribe, but I will say, hey, check out some more videos. And if you do like what you see, then I would love to have you as a subscriber to the channel. But for now, at least, if you just enjoy these videos, hit that like button and then leave a very basic comment down below. So thanks for hanging out. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.